this considered
I don't think
historic?
so. I don't think so. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's just vinyl siding.
Maybe.
And the architecture is not the same as some of the other houses. But
that's an interesting thing, hey? Because there's a whole different set of rules if you own something that has a historic designation.
You're very limited on the exterior and the interior.
Yep.
I get it, and I'm glad that kind of thing exists.
Yeah, keeps
cool.
Well, because Walkerville is such a cool neighborhood,
yeah.
And I bet you there's tons of historic homes and buildings and stuff in this Walkerville neighborhood that really have to abide by it.
There's homes in this neighborhood that claim to have had Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Well,
where's the Monmouth townhomes were like where all the
El Capone.
The workers and everything stayed though, right? Was it the brewery or the distillery?
Yeah.
Right.
I went to Walkerville High School, and I got a hold of the janitor's keys on a weekend because I was doing backstage, and we went to this panel, and the wall that we heard was how you access the tunnels. And I tried every key on the keychain, and I found it, and it opened. And me and like 3 or 4 other people, if they're watching this, they know who they are. I'm not going to say any names. I think we put our initials down on the wall down there. And when we went down, there was like this panel, and you went in it, and it was a small room with wooden doors, like hatch doors.
Are we talking like, is this Prohibition, like rum running tunnels?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
baby.
we're in Walkerville. You go in this little hatch, and it was like a staircase coming down in the school. And at the back of the staircase, like where one of the side doors of the school is, there's like these squared hatches. And we knew that this was a way in. We've been told, because I think they actually had their rifle team practices down in these tunnels, so back in the day. So anyways, we open this hatch, and in this hatch there's like old wooden doors like you would see in an outside like storm entrance to like a basement. And we went down in there, and all the lights are on, and there's plumbing. So obviously the janitor has to go down there for plumbing and electrical, and it's all underneath the school. But then you see this dark hallway with no lights. So we start following it down, and we got our cell phone lights on and everything, and we find this room. And it's a room maybe 2 or 3 times the size of this room, and it has compressed barrels of hay. They were just like metal barrels, but then there was like hay completely compressed inside of them. And I found out from my history teacher that's the old rifle room. Then that was where they shot it, and they still have the targets down there that they would shoot at down there. But past that, there's tunnels, and we stopped because it started getting full of water, like ankle deep.
Yeah.
And we were not dressed to be going through these tunnels, so we stopped, and we didn't know like if there was live electrical and we're walking through water. We don't know. So like rats could be in there, so we didn't go any further.
Rats are in there.
Yeah. So these tunnels apparently connect all the way to Williston Manor, to some of the homes in Walkerville, all the way down to the waterfront, where they would run all this stuff. And I know a friend that has a house in Walkerville that has a door in the basement that's completely cemented off, and it's illegal for them to open that door open because it's actual access to the tunnels. And it's illegal for them to access that because then they can get under other people's homes, and they can and do things. So yeah, there's some really crazy history right below us that we aren't even aware of.
Imagine if you found a tunnel that like went under the Detroit River and like into the
who knows? I don't know. I don't. We
Right?
we went to the distillery for a wedding once, and we poked around a little bit, and we found another entrance to the tunnels, and one of the waiting staff said, yes, that is another entrance to the tunnels. So those tunnels expand all through here. I'm sure there's a map or something you could find. But some of these houses have some crazy history that I bet you the people that live in them have no freaking clue. Like, you could be sitting in a spot where some very famous historical person was sitting. It's a very cool area that way.
I consider Walkerville to be kind of a new downtown for Windsor, right? Like the downtown area of this city has really
nice. It's nice and it's not. It's nice and it's not. I grew up in this area, so I feel like it's being invaded somewhat. And like the restaurants that used to be kind of more casual hangout have become more pub club style, and it's almost too clubby. But I do love that it's rejuvenated the area and it's brought life to the area, and I love that they're investing in the area, and I love that other people are investing in it, and they're bringing back these buildings and restoring them to keep this neighborhood something special. But I also worry that it's going to be like commercialized to a point where it's going to take away from it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think they're being really careful with they bring in here and how they do it. There's another area of the city that we've really started enjoying, like my wife and my friends and I, Ford City.
Yeah.
I think they're finally really actually starting to kind of gentrify that area a little bit, and you know they've got some really cool. There's a place called Pressure Drop.
Yeah.
It's like a grass area between two buildings, and they've got picnic tables. They bring a DJ out there, and you can order food from the surrounding restaurants like Grand Cantina, and there's a couple other, and they bring it to your table.
Come on.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like these are things that I think Windsor needs to start seeing more of, and I don't just mean bars and places you can drink, but I think we really need to start seeing a little bit more revitalization, and we're starting to see it, but not necessarily in the downtown area. We're seeing it in these little pockets in different areas of the city.
I know.
Because it's like almost like people are just writing off downtown, and they're like, we don't want to
Erie Street,
build something there.
Ottawa Street, Drouillard, Wyandotte, Walkerville area, and even Riverside, Wyandotte area are all turned into these like little micro hotspots. Yeah. And Tecumseh's seeing a big boost right now.
Yeah, they are.
And I think everybody's kind of getting their own little niche markets. I mean, even look at Forest Glade with like Parks and Rec in that area, and they're like trying to get, you know, their own little complex going of trendy things. And I like it.
I do too. I think it's great.
But I just wish people could.
Do you think that having Detroit right there kind of detracted from the revitalization of the downtown area of Windsor? Because when they revitalized downtown Detroit, it became, to me, it's like a mini New York. Like you go there and they've got like shops and new cute restaurants and little hidden lanes and a skating rink
but then the reason Windsor is primarily clubs and pubs downtown is because a big driving factor is the 19, 20-year-old kids that can't drink in the States yet. Come here, and it's kind of their hot spot, and there's money to be made. So a lot of businesses have been opened up to make the clubs and the pubs, and that's why there's a lot of that downtown. But then it drives away businesses because they're worried about
drinking, fighting, young
vandalism, things like that. So yeah, this is the whole long topic on its own.
There's a couple places now in downtown. We ride our bikes down there. But do you know where Maiden Lane is? Yeah. Like right by Acapulco Delight? Yeah.
You were talking about this the other day
on
too.
Palliser. Yeah. There's Maiden Lane, and then Maiden Lane, I think it's like Maiden Lane Wine and Spirits. It's like a beautiful new cocktail bar, and they make unbelievable drinks. And it's
there's your plug.
Yeah, there you go, Maiden Lane. But really, really, really cool spot. We've been a couple times in the last couple of weeks. You can sit outside in this lane that cars can't drive up and down anymore. There's a cute little boutique shop.
I think there's a lot of streets.
Whiskey Jack's on there.
A lot of streets in Windsor that I think should just
cut it. Yeah, I think there's hopefully some plans.
Erie Street would be really cool if they just said no more cars from this street to this street. Yeah. Like, I think those types of areas would be really, really cool.
Yeah, as long as you're not, and I don't think you would be in Windsor, as long as you're not like really interrupting the flow of traffic by blocking off a street like that all of a sudden. Because I think there's enough east-west streets in Windsor
where you got Giles in Ottawa and all those things. Like,
do you need Erie to be a main?
I feel like if you cut off just like maybe 5 or 6 blocks. Yeah. You could. I don't think Erie's that busy. It would hurt things too much. People would just learn to navigate around it, but I think it would really help areas like that.